Come along this week as we share in the beauty of Sedona, Arizona. Just a reminder, friends, that when walking into the blind, walk slowly and watch ahead of you.
Open my eyes, I see the full value of that scope. I can see everything in that scope right there. That's how you want it to be.
You know, squirrels and small game in general, through the years there's been a real diminished interest.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life. My wife and I, along with the family, spent a week in Sedona, Arizona, celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Our vacation rental was an apple orchard, where the deer and the javelinas fed throughout the day, and the sound of the creek rippling in the background off in the distance. Come along this week as we share in the beauty of Sedona, Arizona.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Stealth Vision, high-tech precision-driven equipment tailored for the modern hunter.
Okay, I have to admit, this is my favorite time of year. Yep, the deer season is here. Just a reminder, friends, that when walking into the blind, walk slowly and watch ahead of you. Here, I'm walking to my blind, and what do I see? 2 running bucks with a doe. What do? I stop and do not move. I try to use the brush, the trees, anything I can for cover. When they're out of sight, I slip in for a better look. Here in northeast Texas, at the end of October, you will see bucks chasing does in this area. At this point, I have to make a decision. Do I get my bow up? Do I get ready? Can I make a shot? I had an opportunity to take a good look at both of these bucks and determine they weren't of age. They were ones I was not going to take. Upon determining that these were not deer I was going to shoot, I decided to keep shooting with my video camera. It was amazing to watch this event unfold right in front of me. It's fun to see the rut in full swing. Even though I didn't spot another deer all day, I got an amazing surprise. I was able to walk right up on a group of rutting deer and observe their activity. Doesn't get much better than that.
Shooting is really pretty basic when you get down to it. It's always amazing. I hunt with a handgun quite a bit. People go, oh my God, that sharp barrel. Where's the bullet gonna go? Where the bullet goes, where the barrel is pointed when you pull the trigger. And I bring that up for a lot of different reasons, because so very often we have a rifle and the next thing you know, you bring it to your cheek or bring it to your shoulder and you're doing this. You're trying to find where in the world is that scope kind of thing. Well, with one of these Hornady cheek pads, it takes a lot of that away. What you want to do is when you get a rifle, mount a scope on it. Before you put the cheek pad on, put it up to your shoulder, just like you're gonna shoot. Now you noticed I pulled the bolt out of this one. Put your head down on the stock, open your eye, and I'm pushing a little bit harder, but guess where my eye is? It's right there. Now with that cheek pad, if I bring it up and shoot like I was going to get a good well, close my eye, open my eye, I see the full value of that scope. I can see everything in that scope right there. That's how you want it to be. That's one of the reasons I use these. Now, if for some reason it's too low, you can always put a little shim on the bottom of these. So these are available from Hornady.com. Highly recommend that you get one. Great place to keep your license if you're hunting in an area where you have to have any kind of special permits while you're out with a gun. Great place to do that. Great place also to carry extra ammo. Hornady.com, they're cheek pads. Perfect when it comes to hunting and shooting.
A Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by Mossberg, American built, American strong. The YO Steakhouse, Catch and Release Apparel, Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything air guns.
Hello sports fans, it's Bill, the old man at Striper Express with your fishing tip this week on A Sportsman's Life. What have I got here? I've got cleaning knives. There's the electric fillet knives. This is the Tough American Angler $100 knife. You can shop and find it for less or more, but 100's a good average. Tough, they last a long time. It takes a commercial knife to keep up with all these striped bass. Here is a really good knife for $40. This is the Mr. Twister Piranha. And by the way, these Mr. Twister blades will interchange with the American Angler, which is sweet because American Angler blades are very expensive. And these I get them for like 10 bucks. Anyway, great blades. And then, I'm old school. Why am I wearing this glove? This is stainless steel mesh. This is like the nice and shining armor. You can't cut yourself, but you can poke yourself. So I use a straight knife. These are some of my favorite knives. That happens to be a custom stainless knife. Very hard to sharpen, but once it's sharp, it stays sharp. Good old, reasonable Berkeley knife. I like this knife. It's so reasonable. I'd say it's 10 bucks. Great little knife. You can whip an edge on it, you can keep an edge. Good old Knives of Alaska. They happen to be made right here at the Sherman Airport. Great knives, great selections. I love this fillet knife right here. And then, good old Dexter Russell. You've seen them in kitchens. You may have seen them in your mom's kitchen. They're great. All these are high carbon except for that stainless, meaning you can sharpen them and you can keep an edge on them. And then I use a steel to whip an edge on them, and then we put them on that big machine I showed you last year we used to keep a good edge. But this is what I use. All of our guys use electric knives, except Chris and I still use a straight knife. Stainless steel glove. American Angler, Mr. Twister, Piranha, and just good old straight knives. So it doesn't matter what you use, just get them clean, get the grease hot, and go catch a fish.
If you want to learn more about Vineyard Max and the other products they have, go to www.vineyardmax.net.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and welcome to our little cooking segment of the show today. You know, squirrels and small game in general, through the years there's been a real diminished interest in cooking and actually in hunting squirrels. I mean, when I was a kid growing up in northeast Texas, squirrels, there was way more squirrel hunting going on than there were deer. I remember some old guys when I was a kid, folks, that would set up a camp out in the woods up north of Clarksville, up in Red River County, a squirrel camp. They'd camp out 3 or 4 days, set up wall tents, cook squirrels, have squirrel hunting contests. It was a big deal back in the day. But through the years, big game, deer hunting in particular, has kind of took the place of squirrel hunting. And you know, a lot of youngsters skip the small game hunting, which is not really good. I mean, squirrel hunting can teach you a lot about hunting in general, you know. So I love to squirrel hunt, and I usually freeze up a bunch of squirrels. So what I thought we'd do today in our little cooking segment, I've got, you can't see it all, but I've got our cast iron skillet and the lid and all that kind of stuff. We're going to make some smothered squirrel. I'm not going to cook up a big bunch because honestly, I'm here at the old, see my camp back here. I'm up here by myself, and I don't really need a lot of food. But I am going to cook one squirrel. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really simple, but I'll get the camera up close and kind of hone in on the skillet, what we're doing. But the end result is, like a lot of stuff I cook, is a one skillet meal, folks. Going to have gravy, squirrel, and rice. If you've never had squirrel, if you've never eaten squirrel, do not rule it out. I mean, it was a staple back when I was a kid growing up, and I've always loved it. But my family, like everybody else, just through the years, we had so much venison and things like that to eat, other game, big game, that we quit eating squirrel a lot. We're going to cook some squirrel, so stay with me. I'm going to get the camera up close, put the old cast iron skillet down here with a lid. That's one staple that I never leave home without when I'm at camp. We're going to make some smothered squirrel, so stick with me. So folks, we'll just have a little squirrel tutorial, how to cook squirrel. You can see right here in my old trusty cast iron skillet, I have the squirrel just about browned to perfection. Now that's the first thing we want to do. Now, granted, if we were at camp with a lot of people, I would have had several squirrels, but I'm just cooking enough for me right now. The end result will be gravy and rice with this squirrel, and it's going to be really, really tasty. But what we're going to do next, I'm going to drain some of the grease out of here, add a little bit of chopped onion, leave a little grease in, of course, and a little chopped onion, and add a can of, or probably half a can of cream of mushroom soup. Now you can make cream gravy, but at camp all the time people don't have milk to make cream gravy. Now one thing that while I'm on this subject, this happened to be a young fox squirrel. It would have been good fried. I didn't have to pressure cook it or anything. But if you if you have a bunch of older squirrels, say mature squirrels, put them in a pot and cook them, or a pressure cooker if you got a little pressure cooking pot, or just a regular pot with a lid. Cook them about 45 minutes and tenderize them, and then dust them with flour and fry them. They'll turn out just as tender as any. But this is just a little test batch with one squirrel to show you how to do it. So let me get the cream gravy ready and the onion, and then we'll be right back. We'll just follow through and let you see that part of it. Okay folks, there is our cream gravy, and I just simply opened the can. Let me show you what I've got here. Cream of mushroom gravy. Get it at Walmart or anywhere. It's good stuff. But that saves us making cream gravy out here at camp, which can be a pretty difficult task. Not hard to do, but you have to keep the milk cold till you make the gravy, etc. Let's look at these pieces though. Actually what we have, you know, is the quartered up squirrel, the front legs and the back legs, you see, and then the back. And this is only one squirrel, folks. So if I was feeding a camp, you know, usually I'll cook 4 or 5 squirrels, and plenty of black pepper. You'll see if you look really close, you'll see the black pepper in that. That's a must. So what I'm going to do now, and we'll just do that while you're watching here, I'm going to add the rice and the water, and stir it all up, bring it up to temperature, let it cook. Let that rice, it needs to cook about 25 minutes. So we're going to add that and stir it in right now. So let's do that. Don't want to have too much rice, but we do need enough to rice, gravy, and squirrel. That's just a staple. That's about the right amount of rice. Now, you know, when you add rice, you have to add about the same amount of water. So let's put some water in here with this. Stir it all up really well. There we go. Now then, what we'll do, we'll put the lid on this, and we're going to let it cook real low for about 25 minutes. And bingo, there's going to be dinner for us right there. So I'll show you a picture of the finished product. Maybe you can put it on a plate and show you what it looks like. Let's take a look. Oh yes, Yeah, I can look at this. Now that's obviously fall off the bone tender, folks. That's the squirrel. That would be the drumstick of the squirrel. And all of you that are, a little bit hesitant about eating squirrel, let me guarantee you that this is awesome. See how this just flakes off the... Look at that. That is some of the most tasty meat that you can imagine. We have everything all mixed together. And this is about enough for me. I bet I can't eat half of that. But usually, like I say, when I'm cooking squirrel, I'll have it up halfway with gravy and 4 or 5 squirrels in there. But it's just me here at camp today, so I think what I'll do is get a plate and maybe a bowl and just pile that up with squirrel, rice, and gravy and get after it. Folks, this segment was brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Smoke and Tex Electric Smokers, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, YO Ranch Headquarters, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro. Tune in next week for some more real-world outdoor adventures right here on A Sportsman's Life.